Alright, here's the car. It's been giving me a lot of trouble, actually. Been trying to start it here for the last couple days, and it's not receiving tach signal to the MSD software, which in turn isn't sending tach signal to Megasquirt, so it won't fire. I'm getting plenty of fuel. And here's the, speaking of fuel, here is the fuel lines I rigged up. This is some Goodyear 3/8? Yeah, 3/8 fuel line. Heated it and used some loose juice and slipped it on over the feed line here. And then the return line is smaller. And then I used a pipe cutting tool and chopped off the factory fuel lines right here, flared them and double clamped them just for safety and security. They just run through the hole here in the fender. I'll probably run cut a hose in half to make a ring around that so it doesn't rub on the metal. But since the last video, the injectors have been wired. All the common coloreds are for the Megasquirt harness, and all the odd colored ones are for the 12-volt power. And then since it's batch fire, they're all 4 into 1. Like this is the Megasquirt harness, and then this is the 12-volt power harness. And the MSD box is also hooked up. These are real simple, they're labeled. Bank 2, Bank 1, crank position down there above the starter, and cam position back behind the intake. The turbo is just kind of chilling here. I wanted to hook it up so I didn't want this pressure line spewing oil everywhere when I started it, just so I could run it down into a pan. And then I have a 12-volt constant wire that's fused, and it's on a switched relay. So when the key is turned on and it's all fuse 18, which from my reading should be 12 volts while cranking. And so far it looks like it is, because Megasquirt nor MSD drops connection while cranking. But when 12 volts is applied to the key, flips the relay, and then this is powering both injector banks, the Megasquirt, the MSD, and the fuel pump. And I still have to wire up, this is intake air temp. I got a brand new coolant temp sensor down there. Wired that in. All sensor returns go to the black wire with the white stripe. This guy. So your intake air temp, throttle position, and coolant temp all tie into the black with white stripe. Then you run the nice big thicker black wire in for power for your fused relay, or your fuse block that you make. I'll show you trying to start it here. This is a brand new battery. I was hoping that might have been the problem. The other battery, I have 3 other batteries over there that don't work. The one I was using is 600 cold cranking amps, and I thought if I got a stouter battery I'd be in good shape and it would spin it faster. It did help a good bit. You can hear it spinning faster. Still not enough. But shined these connectors up really well. Made a nice thick ground wire that is running to a door hinge bolt. It's also my MSD ground. Shined up the metal behind it, and also used those fancy grounding washers to pinch it down. That's nice and tight. That's thick. I mean, that should definitely be grounding. Shine these up. Brand new battery, just got it today. 900 cold cranking amps. 12.37 volts. And I'll show you what happens here. Here's the MSD software. I have my tune in there. The ignition is actually on, so you can see the MSD is connected. Okay. But as I crank, I don't get tach signal. And it's not dropping signal or connection. So I'm hoping, let's see if you can see see if I can do this and crank at the same time. 12.44 volts. And there's a glare. During cranking, there's key on. Everything's getting power, drop 0.04 volts, 505. When cranking, I'm losing 1.25 volts almost. So I'm pretty sure the solenoid on the starter is shot. This Ford starter solenoid was working fine. I even pulled this one off and shined up the metal behind it for the grounding contacts. Everything's tight, solid. So I'm hoping that it just needs a new starter. I'll probably pick one up on Saturday. My dad and I and cousin are going up north to the big junkyard, so I might pull 2 or 3. I might even pull another 4.8 or 5.3. I don't know yet. Let me get a light. You can see the panel, everything run inside. I stuffed everything in the glove box. For now, I might clean it up later. So there's everything in the glove box. My relay is right here. I might get one of those fancy relay boards from DIY Auto-Tune eventually. But here's my relay, 30 amp, I think. And then when this gets switched keyed power, sends it out and powers this board here. Both of these 5s are injector banks 1 and 2. This is MSD, this is Mega Squirt, and this one's fuel pump, but obviously I don't want to be pumping a ton of fuel in when it's not sparking. So there's all that ran. It just hides in there. And then all the wiring is pulled through the firewall. All my grounds are over here on the floorboard. And you can kind of see. Shined up. So it should be working. I'm hoping the starter fixes it. When I pull the plugs and crank it, I get 170 cranking RPM, which is more than enough. I need something around 130 for the MSD to send a spark signal. But that's where we're at for now. I will make another video hopefully this weekend after I get another starter and let you know what's up and if that fixed it. If not, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do to try and get it to spin fast enough. Aside from a high torque starter, I don't know if that's really going to help. But that's where we're at, and I'll talk to you guys later.